Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. Today is January 16th, 2022. This will probably get loaded up on the 17th, late day. Tonight, oh yeah, one of our favorite topics here. We're going to talk about Project Veritas a little bit. James O'Keefe went out and did a retracto today because somebody didn't tell the truth about him. Oh, so they, of course, had to retract the statement. Well, in all these videos that I've been putting out that Project Veritas is well aware of, Project Veritas has never once told me to retract that I say that James O'Keefe and Project Veritas fraudulently put out that O'Keefe and Veritas are about the truth, the one truth, that they expose everybody. Omissions are worse than lies. They would never say anything that they wouldn't stand behind, etc., etc. And it's all false environmentally. It is all absolutely fraudulent environmentally, and they know it. And their staff knows it. Their staff, they just can't hear it. So last week maybe I put out this that on December 29th, so maybe a little more than last week, I put out that I did get a reply. I got this text message here. Please stop calling from an anonymous text number. And they're going to delete my messages as soon as they see my number, so keep the line open for valid tips. These are the babies at Project Veritas. James O'Keefe presents it as, oh my God, we're so professional. This is how they treat you. If you go to them and say answer to your indiscretions, to your fraudulent statements, like Project Veritas demands other people do. They have got, James O'Keefe has appointed him and Project Veritas God, and everybody answers to them. Yet when you go to them and say, answer for you're not telling the truth, you're not doing the job you put yourself in business to, it takes you over 2.5 years, and this is the reply that you get. An anonymous text. No name, no anything. So, I do call, and this is a phone message I got recently.
Today, Tuesday, January 11th at 6:10 a.m. from 914653612 Duration 10 seconds.
Did you catch that too? What time did they call? Yeah, like 6:08 a.m. Didn't their parents teach them any manners? No, one, I'm not sure this girl has enough intelligence to be like, oh, she lives out west. They know I live out west. I'm not in Eastern time zone. And didn't your parents teach you, like, you don't call people before 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning? Didn't, well, she probably also thought it was really funny. But my phone's on silence too, so I only got this message.
This is Project Veritas. Every time we see your phone number, we just delete your message. So please stop wasting your time, okay? And do get a life.
End of message.
End of message.
To erase this message
number, we just delete your message. So please stop wasting your time, okay? And do get a life.
And do get a life. Do get a life. Just what a little snotty, is that professional? Is that professional? Yeah, no. And do get a life. So, in this email that I'm sending to Project Veritas tonight, I ended saying, she stands in the way of me getting a life. Worse, she keeps her global lie alive. We'll get into that in here. But, I told them the only reason she and the rest of Project Veritas delete my messages is because you need to censor the truth from yourselves. right? These people have to go to work all day and bow to O'Keefe and pretend like, yeah, we expose everybody. Yeah. Oh, the environment. No. We're going to give Gore. We're going to give Redford. We're going to give Sundance. We're going to give Barack. We're going to give the Clintons. We're going to give Greta. We're going to give Bill McKibben. We're going to give the United Nations. We are going to give the entire environmental industry a pass because we're just going to let the lie that they spew live. And that is what Project Veritas put themselves in business to make sure it doesn't happen, which is what we're going to talk about here tonight. O'Keefe just put out this video here 6 hours ago. This is their Facebook post. We'll pause it and talk about it a little bit here and skip some parts. So let's just get on with this. Let me see. Let's put some volume to that. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the temporary Project Veritas Wall of Shame, where journalists' reputations go to die. Today, we have a twofer. 2 retractions for the price of 1. $353 and $354. These retractos go to the UK Independent and the Kansas City Star for making false statements about our reporting on the bombshell DARPA document within the Department of Defense that seemed to contradict Fauci's testimony. This made media heads explode, and the
Okay, and yeah, so false information about Project Veritas. Okay, here's part of what was incorrectly said.
The UK Independent changed that headline. Now it reads, as Project Veritas report seized by Wright. So it went from Project Veritas floats new conspiracy to Veritas report seized by Wright. Also, all this stuff about far-right conspiracy group, and we claim that he was involved in the creation of COVID-19 virus, and the claims are unverifiable. They just deleted all of that. They just took it right down. Another thing they took down was this part, Project Veritas' latest conspiracy theory. Arizona lawmaker Paul Gosar is among the right-wing figures to have pounced on the...
Okay, so we fast-forwarded a bit.
Jaw-dropping. They're claiming that we made these claims initially. Now they've had to retract them. We didn't make any claims.
Okay, they didn't make any claims. I mean, not here. They go on to say that this was put out by this DARPA guy. But, what James O'Keefe has made about claims about Project Veritas includes, this is just a sampling here.
On this latest travesty, we just want them to tell the whole story. When it comes to serious reporting, omission of facts can be just as dangerous as outright lies. We here at Project Veritas believe in truth and telling the complete story.
Right. As long as they choose to, address your subject matter. But remember, omission of lies is omission of facts is worse than lying. Okay, that's gonna come into play in a bit here. Yeah. So will this.
We let the people decide because we have a faith in the people to make the right decisions as long as they're given access to unfiltered information. And that's why we're going to be sending...
Yeah, because that's what Project Veritas does. They let the people decide because they put out unfiltered information, provided they don't filter it and stop it from getting put out, which is what James O'Keefe does with the environment. And... okay, here he has an obligation to tipsters.
That come to us now, and I have an obligation to fight on their behalf. I'll sue people on your behalf.
He's talking about defamation there, but he has an obligation to tipsters to go out and tell the truth that he has put himself in business to. That's his job. And how about this one? A whole special done on him. And this is the whole basis of it. Laura Logan did this whole special. Laura Logan, who will not tell the truth about O'Keefe or the environment.
There's only one truth, James.
There's just reality. You can't change reality.
You can't change the truth either, right? It's real or it's not real.
That's right.
That's right. Except environmentally, they let the not real continue to live because they let the lie live. Because Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, and Laura Logan, who is also on this email here tonight, she's right here, Laura Logan. She will not tell you this environmental truth. No, she doesn't have to. She's not going to. But here's O'Keefe.
Again, we are citizen journalists. We investigate all types of corruption. We pride ourselves in having no agenda. Also, contrary to popular belief, we have never and will never align ourselves with any political party. Veritas exposes the truth, period.
Period. However he says it. Yeah, that's what they do. Sure, except environmentally. And I can say that because it's true. And then, of course, we've all heard, way too many of these.
When an elected representative hides behind her fame, Project Veritas, we expose everyone, sir.
Yep, we expose everyone. Sure, except this lady here and everybody environmentally. But that doesn't stop James Lalina. Nope.
We expose everybody, and we ask questions, they start running. So stay tuned, folks.
Exactly what happens when you ask Project Veritas questions. When somebody turns the tides and says, hey, Project Veritas, answer about your misdeeds, right? Well, they start running. I ask questions and they start running. What do? Oh, that's right. They just delete your messages. And, that phone call was right here from Project Veritas at 6:08 in the morning, but that's the same number, 914-653-6123. Not sure, I should put anonymous there, but 6:08 in the morning. And this is when I had called the night before, and then I called the main number, and, the main number doesn't call me back because the president doesn't call you, James O'Keefe doesn't call you, their lawyers don't call you, but some person who, anonymous, because that's how Project Veritas does business, man. They won't even put a name to who is telling you to go away. And the reason this girl wants me to go away is because she knows they're not doing the right thing. She doesn't want to hear it. This girl, I recognize her voice. She actually did call me. It was, I don't know, it's on my old phone. It was like September, October of 2020. And I recognize her voice. And after, almost 2 years of bothering them, I finally got a reply, and she was basically yelling at me. She was like, I have like 4 or 5 phone calls from you and messages from you. What is it you want? Like she was as obnoxious as she was in this phone call telling me to get a life. Yeah. And I'm like, what do I want? Like, you expose corruption. And so, I said, we can expose these people. Not only are they lying about pretending to seek solutions while they're preventing solutions, they are seeking donations. I'm like, they're robbing the public blind. I said, we could not only get them to shut up, we could get the world to know the truth. We can get them to shut up, and maybe we could start some class action lawsuit where everybody sues them to get their donations back, right? Bill McKibben not protecting our winners, Albie Gore, the Redford Center, all you people, the NRDC, all you people, you're just robbing people's donations dollars. And so that lady said to me, and well, you know what? I didn't know the procedures because she said to me at some point, she goes, well, I'll put you through to legal. And I said, well, don't you think that, like, maybe we should, worry about the exposure before the lawsuit? I didn't know that everything got passed through legal at that point in time. I don't know their procedures. And when I said that, this lady hung up on me. She was going to put me through to Project Veritas Legal, and then she hung up on me, and then I kept calling back, and she wouldn't answer my phones, and she wouldn't answer, and, has never responded to an email. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But trust me, when she called me that time, she was annoyed. Like, she was not pleasant. Definitely not. And they have copies. I don't know how long they keep all these phone calls for, but they have a recording of that. And, her telling me, get a life. Yeah, okay, lady. You know what? Why don't you get a life? And why don't you go get a job where you actually go to work and do what you say you are? But this is who called me. That is who left that message. And let's get back to here. I just fast forwarded a little bit. So
I didn't claim this. This was a Marine Corps major who was a DARPA fellow writing a letter on behalf.
Okay, let's look at this letter. Okay. To those seeking answers, I offer encouragement. There are good people striving for the truth, working together in and out of government, and they succeed. For those that withhold, I pray for you. Find the moral courage to come forward. Don't let a lie be our legacy, which is what Project Veritas does. Project Veritas withholds the truth environmentally. So, they promote this letter. Project Veritas promotes this letter because they promote themselves as walking on water, but they are those that withhold the truth, who are letting a lie be our legacy. This is what that DARPA guy wrote. But let's let God himself finish up here.
Half of DARPA. How bad at your job do you have to be to report in a news article that I made a claim that I didn't make? Now, if your question...
Now, I don't know, O'Keefe. Let's turn the tides a little bit there. How bad do you have to be at your job to go after all these people that you are up to retracto number 353, 354, and you don't ever come and tell me to stop telling people you're fraudulent? That many, many, if not close to most all the statements you make representing you and Project Veritas and what you stand for and what you put yourself in business to do and what you do are absolutely fraudulent environmentally. Right? How bad do you have to be at your job to let that statement stand? Okay, so O'Keefe's going to explain what journalism here is.
Well, it's called investigative journalism. You don't make a statement without backing it up with evidence. Sometimes you have to interview more than one source to corroborate a statement that you make. That's what we do. We find evidence to back up our reporting. We went to speak with...
Okay, so I find evidence to back up that I can state that Project Veritas is frauds. And environmentally, Project Veritas will not go out and find evidence that all of these people are frauds. One, I hand them the evidence. Two, Project Veritas will not go out and put a microphone in Al Gore's face, in Bill McKibben's face, in the Clintons' face, in Barack's face, in Greta's face, in Robert Redford's face. There's a lot of faces. Project Veritas could go out and put a microphone in environmentally and have all of the environmental frauds running away from the camera. But Project Veritas won't. In part, why is that? That's right. Right here. Project Veritas Legal will not even explore this case. May 20th, 2021. This was last year. Right, they won't even, no signature, again, no name associated with it, because that's how these babies do business over there. Yeah, so they just won't do this. And yet Project Veritas Legal also won't tell me to stop saying O'Keefe and Project Veritas are fraudulent about many of their statements, right? including this famous one. Yeah, we will tell your story. Witnessing corruption? Yeah, we will tell your story. That is a written public contract, like the verbal public contracts O'Keefe puts out there that he won't stand behind because he doesn't have to. But here's O'Keefe pushing his book and telling us what the problem with journalism is now.
Pick up a copy of American Muckraker to learn more about how journalism became so corrupted. You guys used to run towards the podium with your microphone asking questions. Now you represent the podium. You act as a mouthpiece for these people. You trust everything the government apparently tells you. And anybody who disproves the official narrative, people are just pouncing and seizing. Pounce.
Yeah.
Pounce. Republicans pounce.
Yeah. What does O'Keefe do here? Yeah, he did this picture. Let's get back to this picture. Okay. So yeah, this picture right
towards the podium with your microphone asking questions. Now you
right. And O'Keefe could be, asking questions of people because he does. They do go and confront people, but not environmentally. Instead,
represent the podium. You act.
He's not representing the podium, but he's not, turning around saying, "Oh my God, Al Gore cares, Bill McKibben cares, oh my God, the NRDC, oh my God, they're searching, we need solutions." No. But what O'Keefe does is he lets this lie live by not doing his job of using a red hot megaphone to tell the world what's coming off of the podium is false. Yeah, that's what he does. He refuses to turn around to the people and state the truth environmentally. Maybe in some areas, but O'Keefe swears to us he has no agenda. How many times has he told us that? He has no agenda. Yet he clearly has an agenda. They go out and they seek information. We're seeking information about this topic. And environmentally, they won't go near anything. So the environment is definitely not their agenda. Project Veritas absolutely has agendas, and Project Veritas Legal will not tell me to retract that statement because it's true. And Project Veritas lets the lie live because they won't change what comes off of the podium environmentally. And it matters because now, one, we shouldn't have to listen to these people. Two, they're robbing us blind of donation dollars by, tens of hundreds of millions of dollars a year when you add all these groups together. I mean, Bill McKibben, his got Earth to 400 plus. Like they take in, 16, 20 million a year. Same with Gore's Climate Reality Project. How much does the NRDC take in? How much does Project Veritas take in based upon all of their fraudulent misrepresentation and not letting the public know their agenda and what they censor? Okay. So O'Keefe isn't the God that walks on water that he claims he and Project Veritas are. Okay, but here O'Keefe is addressing that document.
The document is real, Mr. Oliver O'Connell. The documents are real. But you had the audacity to call me and my organization a conspiracy theorist. You've had to print more retractions and corrections in this one article than the entire amount of corrections I've made in 10 years. I've made like one or two. You've made 3 or 4 in one article.
Okay, you know what else is real? Everything I say about Project Veritas, and Project Veritas will not demand a retraction. And if I ever find the time to take them to court, because that's going to be the only way to actually get a statement out of Project Veritas with a name associated with it, or get them to actually do their job, I'm going to be having James O'Keefe put himself on his wall of shame. It's going to be court ordered if I win. And their lawyers are going to have a field day, and they'll probably have a party when their lawyers get it dismissed. But I'm going to try to get O'Keefe to put him on his wall of shame. And every time he does a retracto, he's going to have to start it out with his saying, "This is where journalism goes to die. I know you're joining me on my wall of fame, on my wall of shame." That's what O'Keefe needs to put out when he says this, when he does these retractos, because James O'Keefe needs to do a retracto, and James O'Keefe will not do it voluntarily. Okay, but well, let's finish this up here.
And you have the balls to call me a conspiracy theorist? What is
O'Keefe, environmentally, I'm calling you a fraud. Because it's true. And you don't have the balls to put a stop to it, because you can't. Okay, now this is what I've told to O'Keefe in an email before, and with another video where he told someone else this.
See, you are what you hate, Mr. Oliver O'Connell.
Mr. James O'Keefe, you are what you hate. You hate frauds that lie, and yet that's how you go about your business. Okay? You are what you hate. I've told you that before. And he continues here.
You accuse your adversary of that which you are guilty of. The psychologists have a term for that. It's called projection. You can read about it in Psychology Today. Carl Jung, a famous psychologist, called it the shadow. My lawyers tell me not to call it a sign of mental illness.
Okay, so I won't say that you or your staff have some type of mental illness, O'Keefe, but I'll tell you, the lady that picks up your phone doesn't seem too sane. And you know what? You and your president and your media and your Eric Spracken, who I just found out his last name the other day, your chief of staff. Yeah, when he picked up the phone when I was leaving messages one night, I have a recording of that. Maybe I'll put it out in a video. I left a lot of messages that night, 3, 4, to finish up my messages at each extension. And Eric picked up the phone. And he, of course, wouldn't tell me who he was, what department he worked in. I called media, and he picked up the media extension and wouldn't tell me who he was, just Eric, what his title was. But then I saw this Eric S., and it was Eric Spracken, and it was a tweet that he did the other day, or someone referenced it. And yeah, he's your chief of staff. And all of you won't answer to any of this. So let's let O'Keefe finish.
And all of this could have been avoided if you just stuck to the facts. Maybe.
All of this could have been avoided, O'Keefe, if you just did your job. But who am I, Little Miss Powerless, compared to your big, well-funded empire, where you can just be what you hate? You can be the fraud that you work against. You can be the person that runs away from the microphone, that you then humiliate, because we ask questions, they run away. So don't you and your entire staff, O'Keefe. Here he is a little later in this video.
Use hidden cameras because we don't want to get too close to our sources.
Okay, this is the important
We take our jobs very seriously. And maybe you should take your job seriously instead of projecting onto me what you are.
Yeah, O'Keefe, maybe you should take your job seriously instead of projecting onto everybody that you expose what you are. You're a fraud in doing your job. Environmentally, at least. And if you are holding back this one environmental truth that the world needs to know, you're holding back a lot of other truth too. Okay? I'm sure of that. How could you not be? With the amount of tips that you get and the small number of exposures which you yourself say are, what we all suspected. That's why I call you Project Verification, because you verify what we already. So that's the end of that video. Let's call this lady, who is what a charmer at this anonymous number. I think
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Project Veritas, anonymous lady. Hang up if you want. The World Wide Web is listening to the message you should be listening to. I put it in an email here to you tonight. You're probably picking that up. I'm actually going to send that now. I'm just going to scroll through this email right now so that people can read it if they want. But I just sent it. And you know what? You have to censor these calls. You have to be your baby and just delete them. You know why? Because it's tough going to work being a fraud every day, isn't it? Yeah, it's tough going to work fraudulently pretending that you expose everybody when you don't. And so what happens in that situation is, what babies, what snowflakes do. Then they just keep the truth from themselves. So you want to delete this? Just prove that you are the baby that you are, who would send anonymous messages, leave an anonymous phone call. And you know what? I keep my phone on silence for fools that, weren't raised right, that would call somebody at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay? I got to go call your president and your administration and your media guys tonight because you just did another retracto. And you know what? I'm again telling you to demand that I retract that you're fraudulent, and you can't. And that's why you delete these phone messages, because you're frauds and you won't be reminded of it because you're not going to do the right thing. So I just hung up there. Let's call Project Veritas main number here. There we go. Oh, this just takes so long. It's
Thank you for calling Project Veritas.
Okay.
With the mission
Let's
of investigating
just...
and exposing corruption, fraud, and waste in
Right,
order to
that's their
achieve
mission.
a more ethical and transparent society.
If only they do it.
For tips, press 1.
Okay.
For the office of the
Tips.
president, press 2. For
So
media, press 3.
we're going to press 2
Press
for the president, because Tips was the lady that already just hung up on me. So that's when she called me back in September, October 2020.
Please record your voice message at the tone.
She was picking up the Tips line.
Please hang up or touch pound for more options.
Hey, Project Veritas president, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. I'm doing a video tonight about your Retracto 353 and 354, where again, Project Veritas made somebody who's putting out false information about them retract the statements. And I again put out a video stating that you will never do that to me because you can't. So do your job and get that embarrassment that runs your Tips line, and get her in line and tell her, don't ever call somebody and tell them to get a life with an obnoxious tone. I remember the first time that lady called me back and she was yelling at me for leaving tips. Yeah, September, October 2020. Yes, I have like 4 or 5 calls from you and messages from you, and how's that new from any other day of the week? But I don't know, this one day she was on her high and mighty, and she called and yelled at me for the audacity of giving Project Veritas tips. Okay? So, delete this if you want, but if I were you, I'd actually get to doing my job. So I'm going to go call your media and your administration now. So let's...
calling Project Veritas.
Just to prove I called them back. You know what, for time, I just cut a lot of that out. So I pressed 3 for media.
Please record your voice message at the tone. When you are finished, please hang up or touch pound for more options.
Hey, Project Veritas Media, this is Eileen Connors, the environmental educator. I'm doing a video tonight about your Retracto 353 and 354 because somebody put out fraudulent information about you and they had to retract it. And yet with all the times I put out that Project Veritas fraudulently misrepresents everything that O'Keefe says that he and Project Veritas are, but aren't environmentally, which leads me to believe you are not in many other areas either, you still refuse to tell me to retract my statements. You know why that is? Because you can't. So watch the video, and I'm going to go call your administration line. I called your president. I called your tips line. And if any one of you could be an adult and actually have some substance, let's get on and do your job. Okay.
You're calling Project
Okay,
Veritas
so
with the mission
just to
of
prove,
investigating
I called them
explosive
back. Okay, then I'll bore
Please
you.
record your voice message
I
at the
pressed
tone.
5 here.
When you are
This
finished,
is
please hang up or
administration.
touch pound for more options.
Hello, Project Veritas administration. This is Eileen Connors, the environmental educator. I'm leaving a message again tonight because I'm doing a video about this retraction video, 353 and 354 you just put out, because every time somebody makes an incorrect statement about Project Veritas, they're made to retract it. And yet here I am again.
Accepted. 9. To send a message, touch star or
What?
hang up. To select delivery options, touch 1. To review the message you just recorded, touch 2. To re-record your message, touch 3. To discard your message, touch 4. To enter your return number, touch 5.
That's, what was 3? I
Please
pressed 3.
record your voice message
Okay.
at the tone. When you are finished, please hang up or touch pound for more options.
Yeah, Project Veritas administration. This is Eileen, the environmental educator, doing a video about your Retracto 353 and 354 video tonight, because if somebody puts out false information about Project Veritas, they are made to retract it. I am again telling the world, proving along with it, that environmentally Project Veritas is frauds. They are nothing of what James O'Keefe says he and Project Veritas are, the one truth. Omission is worse than lies. You have to, that they would never say anything that they wouldn't stand behind. Everything that is false. And yet again, still, Project Veritas has never told me to retract this because Project Veritas won't. So let's get on to doing your job. Okay? So that's that. Okay, and here we go with O'Keefe.
Why can't these people stand behind what they say? Why would you say something and not stand behind it? I wouldn't ever say something that I'm not willing to stand behind.
Oh, except everything that you say when it comes to Project Veritas in terms of the environment. So, again, O'Keefe, do your job. Project Veritas, do your job and expose all environmental voices are preventing solutions frauds and stop letting the lie live. Because that is not a transparent society, and that is the equivalent of being, the media that then is the megaphone for the authorities, just regurgitating the authority story, not stopping it, not putting an end to it, not putting the truth out, is the equivalent of being a megaphone for them. Omission is worse than lies. Okay? They're both horrendous. And you have been doing it since June 25th, 2019. So people, stay tuned. This is true, and this is the only place you will get it.